Yes, I shot all these intros and exits sitting on my front porch, my little bench, wearing the same shirt. I didn't wear the same shirt for 2 days. But anyway, here we go with part 2. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think. See ya. That is the east building of the depot. That is where my office is. I've been in this building since about 2002, I think, is when they moved me out of the west building and into this building. And let's go on in there and see if there's anything cool in there. I'm not sure what this counter here was for. I know that this was the offices where things were run from. Back there where my office is used to be the superintendent's office, and the superintendent was the honcho of the San Joaquin division, and there aren't any honchos left here anymore. These are the restrooms. This is the one that's used by everybody. That is my restroom. I have it locked. I get tired of people making messes of it. I don't know who was ever in this office. It's nothing but a storeroom now. And this office right here used to be the training officer for the operating department. They cut that job off in the new 2020 plan. This office right here belongs to Victor Castillo, the roadmaster for the San Joaquin Valley Railroad. He rarely ever uses it, but they gave him an office. This office belongs to right now to Paul Eby, who is the Delano maintainer. This office belongs to the communications department. He doesn't really use it anymore. Jason, he has an office over in the building next to the comm towers. This is Lee Henning's office. He is the SP special agent, SP cop. And then this is my office, my 70s porn movie shag carpeting. It's the only one in the building that didn't get new carpet because my boss was being cheap back in the day. And that's my board that tells me what I got to do, and my mess of a desk. Doing a lot of work on prints right now, circuit plans. All the stuff I have to have on the walls, and that's all stuff that my kids have given me there. But this is the northwest corner of the building, northwest corner office, and that's looking out towards Jackson Street. And that is, can't even get those open. And that is looking out at Baker Street. And this is the simulator room where they train locomotive engineers. There's the simulator. They put a simulation of a certain part of the railroad up on that screen, have a guy sitting in that chair right there, and he runs the locomotive. Pretty cool training. And this is the door to the upstairs portion of my building. It's been a couple of years since I've been up here. It's been abandoned for a while now. Last time I was up here, I had a spider drop down on my head and scared the heck out of me. It's dusty up here, smells real dirty. This door here just goes into a whole storage room. They stuck a bunch of stuff in here. You used to be able to walk back in there, and there's an opening back there that goes into the roof of the breezeway. where they would crawl back in there and do work on wiring and things inside the house. Again, tongue and groove stuff's got the tall ceilings. This is the men's room. And looking out the north side of Depot, Jackson Street. The women's room, for some reason, they didn't get as big a room as the men did. And this was the last office that was actually used, the last room. This is where the communications were. There's one of their wire racks. This is where they were prior to moving across the way. This one of the air tubes that they use, are like the things that the banks had. Communications didn't use it, but these were connected to the offices in the other building, which you can see there. That is the east building that we were in earlier. And they went over there to the REA building and to the upper floor of the dispatcher's office. And I know that this was part of the engineering department. Stuff came up here. I'm not sure who exactly worked up here. Little window there out into the hallway. Just a kind of a mess in here now. And that is looking back down towards the restrooms, which are there. That door there just goes into the former communications room. Stairs up into the attic. I'm not going to be so bold. Please forgive me. I don't know. Yeah, there's still a bunch of stuff in here. Let's take a look here. That doesn't say anything on it. I've had my glasses with me. I can't see any of this. It's just a requisition from the PM department from Southern Pacific. Packing lists. This is from 1994. So it's not all that old. I'm sure there's nothing in there from the 30s or 40s, and if there is, it'd just be old paper. This was the telephone room. See, all those old terminals were for all the telephones in this building, and well, in all the buildings that control the phones for the east building, the REA, the baggage room. I think it even controlled the telephones for the old Yardmaster's Tower, which is long since gone. 2 air conditioners to keep the equipment that was in here cool. This was, well, they took his name off the door. I don't believe that. Huh, I wonder why. Huh, this was Steve Anderson's old office. He was a communications supervisor for years and years down here. And the last time I was up here, it still said his name on there. I wonder why they took that off. And that is looking out at the intersection of Baker Street and Sumner Street at the Metropole Hotel. And that is looking west down the tracks where we have a train coming. I don't know if you can still see where it used to say his name. Steve Anderson is one of the few guys that I really didn't get along very well with. He's a nice enough guy, but we sure didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things. But he's long since retired. This was the code. It wasn't a code room, but we had code equipment in here. Our what was called the flu units were down there about where that crossing house is. They were in that area, and those controlled the code system, and they were routed through machines in this room. And it was part of the it was also part of the communications department. They monitored that stuff. We actually maintained it and took care of it, but if something went wrong with it, they replaced it and they tested it. The communications, that is. That looks like the San Joaquin Valley, or maybe one of the, whatever it is, it's one of the locals. It's not a through train. He's pulling what's called the 50 lead, which is the west yard lead. They'll pull in there and go into the yard and scatter their cars wherever they need to scatter them, and they'll be picked up and put on a mainline train at some point in the future. I found out today, let's see that, these old windows like this that could be opened in and out. Sorry for the really poor light quality. Nothing I can do about that. But those windows that pull open from the top remind me of when I was a school kid. Private. This was a private office. And again, I don't know what this office was for. It's like at one time it had window panes in the doors, but I'm going to try to get a shot out at, well, I was wrong about that door outside. It goes into a closet. Now, there's the communications tower across the parking lot. At the base of that's where the communications people are nowadays, communications guy. And that is absolutely true. It's nobody else's responsibility to keep me safe. That's my job, whether I like it or not. There's an old red zone sign. Anything within an arm's length of the track. Any physical position that places an employee in a life-threatening situation is considered a red zone. All right, well, that is, you know what, I want to look in this store here. I seem to remember it's just a closet or something. Probably heater. And some really old, ugly ass blinds. The water heater back there. Anyway, that is the upstairs, second floor of the west building at the old Southern Pacific Depot. And I did find out today that when we vacate this building, when they finish our new one, whenever that is, that this building will be going to the city. The Historical Society has already filed all the proper paperwork, I guess, and so at least it won't be going away immediately after it's vacated by the railroad, and hopefully they'll be able to do something with it. And this is the north side of the depot. This would have been technically the front of the depot. This is where the side the passengers boarded at. You see the portico there where we were earlier. The upstairs, sadly, all boarded up. That is over in the building where my office is and the old communications. And then there's the upstairs where the dispatchers and the engineering department work. Downstairs where the crews work out of now. And then over there's the REA building. And again, I believe this is called the Richardsonian style architecture. But not much over here anymore. No passenger trains. Just a lot of people walking around. That is looking west or railroad north out of Bakersfield. Looking south down under the Beale Avenue overpass into the yard. I'll do a small piece on what's left of the yard down there at some point. But anyway, that's this side of the depot. So that will conclude the tour of the Southern Pacific, now Union Pacific Railroad Depot, Bakersfield, California. I hope everyone enjoyed the tour, had fun doing it. I don't get upstairs much and probably won't again before the end of my career. And gonna get out of here because it's starting to rain again. And as usual, please share this with your friends or anybody you think might be interested in this kind of stuff. We'll have some more adventures as we go down the road. I want to thank everybody for joining me on this. Hope you join me for the next ones. Everybody take care.